Good morning. It is time to talk about real estate versus business. Now, business is an asset class that I've hinted at a little bit before. I believe it's the only asset class with investing that can come close to real estate. Now, I'm not going to talk about it as simply as an investment. I'm going to talk about it as a business, as an active business. If you look at the Forbes 500, if you look at the wealthiest people in North America, consistently, almost 100% of the people have made their money in either business and or real estate. There are a few people who have made their money in some other way. For example, in stocks, all the people, 100% of the people that have made their wealth in stocks have made it by creating a business out of the stock thing. Now, that could probably be argued about the real estate too. But with real estate, you can start in a completely different way. And we've talked about real estate versus stocks, so we're not going to go there. With business, almost everyone that has created extreme amounts of wealth throughout history has done it through business. And it's amazing how well business does. Now, I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of business. I'll talk about how real estate compares to it a little bit, and then I'll leave you with maybe a thought to think through this. What are some of the advantages of business? You can make incredible wealth through business. Another huge advantage is that you can build it as an investment. So you can build equity into a business that you can pull out at various times. Like real estate, you can have other investors invest in that business. Business has a lot of really huge advantages. You are taxed at a lower rate. Active business is taxed at a far lower rate than passive real estate. What are some of the disadvantages? Well, listen, in order to make a lot of money in business, you need to create a big business. Small businesses will not cut it. If you're a solopreneur, most likely you will never have wealth through business. It takes a crazy amount of time and energy to create a big business. This is why you hear a lot of people who have struggles with their family or struggles in other areas of life because they've dedicated so much time. It doesn't mean it needs to be that way, but it's fairly common because business takes so much time and energy. You need an incredibly diverse skill set to build a big business. It is not an easy thing. It is not a simple thing. It doesn't take just a few years. So like real estate, they've got a lot of similarities. Like real estate, it takes decades to build a massive business for most people. You hear about every once in a while, one or two people who have done amazing things in like 8 years or 12 years, but almost all the time it takes an extreme amount of time, like real estate does. The one advantage of business is that you can cash flow fairly soon. It can pay for your lifestyle, whereas passive real estate takes quite a while to pay for your lifestyle. Okay, so those are some of the advantages and disadvantages of business. With real estate, what are some advantages and disadvantages? Well, I would argue business is very fast paced. The business market can change very, very quickly. We saw this with COVID, where all of a sudden everything's done online. So if you're not ready for that, it can be very difficult to pivot. Real estate changes fairly slowly. Yeah, markets go up and down, but again, even that happens fairly slowly compared to what can happen in business. So because of that, I actually think real estate has an advantage there over business. Another advantage that real estate has over business is that time versus the money that you make from it is way out of whack. Okay? Like I said, to create a really big business, it takes all of you. It's going to take an enormous amount of time and energy. Whereas to create a significant real estate portfolio, you actually don't need the same amount of time. You don't need the same amount of time. So bang for your buck. If you're going to invest a minute here and a minute there, if you invest a minute in real estate, you can get a significant amount of money. You need to invest a lot of time before you get any money from a business. Okay, and then that's just the way it is, which is okay. So here's the question. I'm going to keep this one fairly short. I personally do both. I'm looking to create a bigger business, and I'm actually creating a bigger business out of real estate as well as other things. But really, if you want to do really well in life and in business or financially, you can do it in business and in real estate. Why not do both? Why not do both? Well, again, you got to ask yourself, what is your time worth? What is your energy worth? Big business is really another advantage of real estate over big business is that, again, you don't need the same amount of skill set. Real estate is very, very, what's the right word? It's gracious. It's gentle with people for the most part. You've got to do a lot of things wrong to fail at real estate. You got to do a lot of things wrong. And this is why, I mean, people do fail at it. I'm not saying they don't fail at it, but you've got to do so many things wrong. People that fail at it, they don't know a lot about real estate. They got really excited and they're entering into the market. Usually after people have failed a couple of times, they learn there are so many ways to make money in real estate that it works really well. Tax advantages. I'm going to go back to tax advantages just for a sec. Tax advantages for businesses are so significant. In Canada, there's something called the lifetime capital gains exemption. That means that up to about $900,000, you can get in tax-free wealth when you sell a business, if it's an active business. You don't get that from passive real estate. You're not able to do that from passive real estate. Now, there are some other advantages to real estate too. You don't have to pay taxes for a very long time. You can structure things for a very long time without paying taxes because you're not selling something. And you can use a lot of the income to write off on tax forms. You can write them off through expenses. So the really unique things you can do. You can do some of that in business as well. You can use business to pay for your lifestyle. So again, I think you can tell. I love both ideas. I think really the choice for most people is going to come down to, what are you good at? Where are you lacking? If you're good at making money in your job, if you're good at making money in another way, maybe big business is not the way to go. Maybe you should simply invest that into real estate. If you are somebody that doesn't have as much time or energy, maybe you should probably switch into real estate. If you don't have a skill set to deal with people and to raise money as investor capital, then probably you stay away from business and you focus on your real estate. I love both of them. Again, why not do both? But I'm going to tell you another reason why I love real estate, and that is that every property that you buy is a business in a box. It's a business in a box. And the more you run it like a business, the better you'll do at it. What I mean by businesses in a box is that you need to understand how money comes into a business, your real estate business, and how it moves out. And how you can utilize that to decrease your taxes, to do other things. I'll leave you with this. Why is business so tax advantaged? I think a lot of people look at wealthy people and go, oh, those jerks. They get all these tax advantages from the government. Well, you think about it from the government's perspective. From the government's perspective, if you own passive real estate, what are you contributing to the country right now? Some might argue you're contributing housing or contributing space for businesses, and that's true. You're not contributing very much to GDP. Okay? Usually people who are smart about real estate are kind of protecting it, not paying a lot of taxes, kind of keeping it within itself, and it takes a long time to see that money come out again. Second option is an employee. An employee is not taxed as high as passive real estate a lot of the time. But again, an employee doesn't add, I'm not taking away from human beings or the value of a human being right now, but one employee doesn't actually add very much GDP to a country, the gross domestic product. They don't improve the economy a lot. Whereas and even a solopreneur adds something, but not as much as a big business. A big business brings so much money to a country. It makes money move in a country, which helps the country a ton. So what countries do is they give tax advantages to people to create big businesses. It's an incentive to work hard at that. And as they do that, they're rewarded by paying a little less taxes. It's not that they don't pay taxes. It's that they pay a smaller percentage. They still pay a ton of taxes because that's the way our world is typically set up. There are very few places on earth where you're paying very little in taxes, no matter what you're doing. So what do you do? What do I like more? You know what? It really depends on the person. I love real estate because it's a way for any person, no matter where they've come from, no matter where they start, with very little startup capital, you can start a real estate portfolio. And over the course of 40, 50, 60 years of adult life, you can create a massive amount of wealth with very few skills. With business, you need far more skills. But it's similar in some ways in that if you're willing to put in the time and the energy, it's a long game, both situations. But if you're willing to put in the time and energy and you develop that skill set, you can do amazing things with business as well. I'm curious what you have to say about this. Feel free to email me back with the email that I sent with this video, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can always connect with me in whatever way you feel best suited to communicate with me. enjoy your week. I really enjoy putting this set together. I'm probably going to be creating a longer video just to talk about all the different ways that real estate makes money. I've thought about comparing and contrasting real estate to insurance because some people see that as an investment. I don't see it the same way, kind of like I don't see gold as an investment. It's a savings plan. But I might compare it to a couple of other things, even things like art or coins or other kind of odd things that people can invest in. Odd not because they're bad in any way, but because they're not kind of the normal things that people invest in. So maybe I'll talk about those things. Let me know if you want anything else from me. Enjoy your day, and you've got this.